I'm going to ask the clerk to formally announce the meeting and call the roll.
A special session has been called for Monday, July 24th, 2017 at 5:30 p.m. for a public hearing on the final 2018 Unified Government and Community Development Block Grant budgets. Immediately following the public hearing will be a budget workshop in the 5th floor conference room. Roll call: Murguia. Johnson.
Here.
Kane. Here. Markley. Here. Walters. Here. Philbrook.
Here.
Bynum.
Here.
Walker. Here. Townsend.
Here.
McKiernan.
Here.
Holland.
Here. All right, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. The way we work our public hearing, you will have an opportunity to sign in if you would like to speak. There are opportunities to sign in on each door. People will be called to speak in the order in which you came in, and the clerk will call each person who's speaking, and then they'll call the person who's next up, so you can be ready. You'll be given up to 3 minutes to make your presentation. You will be given a 1 minute heads up at the 1 minute mark that you have remaining. But we do want to just thank everyone. We had a public budget hearing in February to get advanced information on our budget, and then we are having this one immediately prior. We anticipate adopting the budget on Thursday, so we always have a closing budget hearing as well. Now that the public has had a chance to see on television or online the priorities for our budget, so you can comment on those as well. So we appreciate everybody coming out. We appreciate your taking the time to give your input. And I'm going to turn it over to the clerk. Well, we have a brief presentation first from Mr. Bach, and then I'll turn it over to the clerk for the hearing.
Thank you, Mayor, and welcome this evening. As the Mayor noted, one thing about our budget, we will go through a few facts in our budget, but we've gone through and given a lot of presentations and information about our budget leading up to tonight. Some important things on the calendars that we've done leading up. We really started our budget process. We worked this thing for about 3/4 of the year. So in November of last year, we started going through and doing some strategic planning with the commission where they really set forth the actions, which direction we're going to go as we plan forward. We had our first public hearing on February 23rd. It's at that time members of the public are able to come in and throw new ideas and things toward us so we can start to formulate those as we go through and work our budget with our department heads. We did a planning retreat with the commission in April, special sessions in the month of May, and then as we worked through this month and done several workshops as we lead up to tonight. It's a public hearing that really falls into a lot of things from a legislative perspective of timing, and as the mayor said, if people are able to hear what we've planned and built into the budget after many months of work by the commission, that's what we're moving forward with toward the adoption on the 27th. With that, I'm going to ask my budget staff to come forward and offer just a few overall summary points on where we have for our total budget, and then we'll turn it back over for the public hearing, Mayor.
Thank you.
I'll recognize Reginald Lindsay, our budget director.
Thank you, Doug. Good evening, Mayor Holland and commissioners, and also members of the public. This year, we're proposing a $357 million budget that is made up of public safety, public works, and also community service. Public safety is the largest portion of the budget at 39%. That is the police department, the sheriff department, and the fire department, and also emergency management. In public works, we have streets, and also we have buildings and logistics. And over in community service, we have departments like community development, parks and rec, and also transit and economic development. Our 2018 proposed budget for the city general fund is a $154 million budget, and this is made up of expense categories that include personnel, which is 69% of the pie, and also contractual services, and then also capital outlay and commodities, which come in a close third and fourth. The county general fund that we're proposing for 2018 is a $59 million budget. This portion of the budget accounts for outlying cities as far as Edwardsville and Bonner Springs, along with the city of Kansas City, Kansas. And the largest expense category there is personnel costs at 69%, just as in the city general fund. And then also contractual services, which are 22%, and commodities and capital outlay come in a close third and fourth. I'm going to turn it over now to Wilbur Miller, our Community Development Director.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. Bach, and the public. As you know, the Unified Government of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas receives an annual allocation of entitlement funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, for the following programs: the Community Development Block Grant Program, Home Investment Partnership Program, and the Emergency Solutions Grant Program. In order to receive these funds, the Unified Government must submit a 5-year consolidated plan, which includes an assessment of housing needs for both affordable and special needs housing, a housing market analysis, housing priorities and strategies to address those priority needs, a 5-year strategic plan, and an annual action plan. The UG has developed a new 5-year consolidated plan for fiscal years 2017 through 21, which includes the 2017 annual action plan. In addition, the plan will include the Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing Plan and the Lead-Based Paint Grant Program. The 2017 Annual Action Plan is the first year of the new 5-year plan. The Annual Action Plan consolidates the 3 grant programs into a single application, which includes the descriptions of projects and activities expected to be undertaken using grant funds and any expected program income. Examples of eligible CDBG activities are shown on the current slide. The plan also includes actions that the UG expects to take during the program year to pursue strategies described in the new 5-year plan. The Unified Government must hold 2 public hearings to inform the community about the plan process, and to obtain community input. The first public hearing for the plan was held on April 6, 2017, prior to developing the draft plan. We are fulfilling our second required public hearing tonight. The draft plan was published on June 22nd, and citizens were given 30 days to comment. Since the draft plan was published, we received final notice of our fiscal year 2017 grant allocation from HUD. The plan budget is summarized by the following slides and is shown by categories and activities, and includes the adjustments made due to the final grant allocation. The CDBG budget was increased by $9,863 and totals $2,020,849. The home investment budget increased by $25,380 and totals $623,57, which also includes $29,649 in home proceeds. And then the ESG, or Emergency Solutions Grant budget, was actually decreased by $1,230 and totals $181,044. This plan must be submitted to HUD 45 days prior to the fiscal year that starts October 1st, which means the submission can be absolutely no later than August 15th, 2017. Failure to submit by August 15th will automatically result in a loss of funds. A resolution calling for the adoption of the 2017-21 5-year consolidated plan, the 2017 annual action plan, and attachments will be presented for commission approval during the July 27th, 2017 adoption of the Unified Government budget. And this concludes my portion of the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. That concludes our presentation. We'll ready for recommended public hearing.
Thank you. I'll turn it over to the clerk at this point to call on the speakers.
Before we call the speakers to the podium, I have a statement to read. We would like to welcome all present to this public meeting of the Unified Government of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas, regarding the final 2018 Unified Government and Community Development Block Grant budgets. We appreciate the attendance of those people here this evening, and we recognize the importance of your views. We would, however, remind you that there are 10 individuals signed up to speak. Each person will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. Should you go to the 2-minute mark, I will announce that you have 1 minute remaining, and that will allow you time to wrap up your comments. As you come to the microphone, please state your name and city of residency for the record. On deck means that you will be next to the podium. We would appreciate your efforts to be considerate to all during their comments. We ask that anyone with a cell phone to please turn them off or switch to non-audio. Once comments begin, we would appreciate no talking, clapping, or outbursts, so you will not disturb the hearing for recording purposes and for TV viewers. If any distractions occur, you may be asked to leave the room. To the podium, we will have Fonda Talhorst with Mark Sorensen on deck.
Good evening. My name is Fonda Telhorst, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak before you, the commissioners, and the mayor, and the public. My husband and I moved to Wyandotte County in 1996. We have raised our children in this community, and we both continue to work in Wyandotte County. And we have seen tremendous growth and changes in the last 20 years. Development of the Legends area, revitalization projects, health and wellness programs in the city with partner organizations, and the list goes on. All of this requires a strong tax base to sustain. One of the ways to attract families, tax-paying citizens, is to make sure that their tax dollars are not only paying for essential necessities, but also for family-friendly amenities. In representation of many voices tonight, we ask you to seriously consider exploring the building of an aquatic center in our community. Instead of listing several statistics and reasons why, I'm going to give you 3 simple facts. 1, an aquatic center is directly related to a health initiative begun by Mary Reardon in 2010. Swimming is a lifelong sport that can provide physical activity for people of all ages. Access to swimming lessons, water aerobics, lap swimming, recreational swimming, and therapeutic recovery are all beneficial. Number 2, access to a well-planned local aquatic center is appealing to current and prospective homeowners. It provides a fun environment that attracts families. It is a positive, affordable outlet for youth to be active and social. Instead of families traveling to surrounding communities, our revenue stays right here in Wyandotte County. And third, and the final reason, is probably one of the best kept secrets in Wyandotte County. For over 40 years, our Piper district, our Piper community, has supported a summer swim team
remaining.
By volunteers. In fact, our coach that has mentored many of those swimmers has coached for the last 34 years, and she's here this evening. The Piper swim team currently has over 120 swimmers ages 5 to 18. The current rented facility is too small for the growing team. In fact, we are unable to host competitions because of the size of the facility. So in summary, we believe there is a strong community support, and we encourage you to explore the options to make an aquatic facility in our community a reality. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Mark Sorensen to the podium and Jamie Becker on deck.
Good evening, guys. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Mark Sorensen. I'm here along with 5 other members from the Piper Soccer Club. And then we also have some members of the KC Gaelic Athletic Club here with us tonight as well. So what I'm going to talk about is the Piper Soccer Club, how it was formed a little bit, and what the need is that we have in our community. The Piper Soccer Club is an independent, non-profit organization that consists of 6 Wyandotte County resident volunteers, which are all here tonight. Each member has a vested interest in the development of youth soccer in the community of Piper, Kansas. But Piper Soccer Club is not committed to just the Piper residents. We are opening to what we call a united metro area. So we would like to welcome players from any part of Wyandotte County, but if there's surrounding counties that want to join with us, we welcome them as well. The goals of the Piper Soccer Club include allowing children the opportunity to have fun while playing competitive soccer, but also teach children good sportsmanship, teamwork, and commitment, and provide a high-quality professional soccer training for children developing their soccer interest in our community. I mean, we have Sporting KC right here in our backyard, but Piper, our residents, continually year after year have to send our players to Metro United, who's in Shawnee County, or Johnson County, or Leavenworth County. So me and other members said, hey, let's build something here that we can be proud of, that our community can be proud of. Since we built that, we actually was in the fall of 2015, Piper Soccer Club has grown over 400%.
Sir,
That's
you have 1 minute.
400%. We began with just 7 teams that had 65 kids in 2015, and already we have 37 teams with more than 450 kids just in our community alone. The teams range in age, the ranges of their ages are from anywhere from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade. And then what we're asking for is basically some funds to build a practice field. We have no space to practice with these 450 plus kids. So what we're looking for is some help basically from you guys. But we also have other members from our community that are asking to pitch in to help with this as well. So that's what they're up next to talk about. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We have Jamie Becker on deck, and we have Jamie Becker to the podium, Chris White on deck.
Hello, I'm Jamie Becker. I'm with the Piper Soccer Club and from Kansas City, Kansas. Thank you for having us out to speak tonight. So just to kind of piggyback on what Mark was saying, we're about a 2.5-year-old club who has grown tremendously over the last few years. And recently we received some grant funds from the Hollywood Casino that we are looking to utilize towards building a practice facility for some of our teams. Currently we use like parks, private, property, anywhere that we can get fields to play on, and that's not really conducive to growing the club and getting these kids active. Piper has about 15,000 people in the community, and like Mark said, we have 450 kiddos playing with us. That's 3% of our community is playing soccer with our club that has nowhere to practice. So that's why we're here tonight to ask for your assistance. Not only that, but Wyandotte County, as you may know, is one of the highest ranked for obesity and health problems in the state of Kansas. And with no public access to walking trails or a park, these kiddos in Piper are growing up with not a lot of opportunity to kind of get out of that. So I think that's really all that I have to say. So thank you for having us, and yeah.
Thank you.
Chris White to the podium, Jill Gonzalez on deck.
My name is Chris White. I reside in Kansas City, Kansas. Again, continuing on with what they're doing. What we're truly asking for is there is a land parcel at K5 in Walcott, which used to be a go-kart track, which is now owned by the city, not being used. It is in a floodplain. However, we have thrown around some ideas and talked to city officials to try to turn that area into soccer fields, walking trails, and even expanding, depending on how the funds work, a splash park. I know these people are asking for an aquatic center, which I don't know if that area would be great, but something for the community. West of 435, we have very few parks. Talking about green spaces, we're having to, some of our teams have to rent green space from either Wyandotte County Lake, Wyandotte County Park, and we're also working with the Piper School District to use some of their spaces, but we're butting heads, especially right now with football season. So like we're saying, there's very limited spaces for us to practice, and also the opportunity to turn, I'm not sure the actual acreage, 30 some odd acres, into an opportunity to make this a community area. Like I said, walking trails, something the entire community can enjoy. Currently, if I want to take my kids to ride their bikes, I have to go to the high school to ride in the parking lot. Just not that conducive. I just think it could be that area that is being maintained by the city could be developed. We're not really asking for funds. We do have grant money. We're trying to do this on a limited, as low a burden, if any, to the taxpayers themselves. Whether it's through donations. We've talked to companies about clearing the land, but we know some of the commissioners and yourselves are, very creative when it comes to finding these funds. and ways to do this without taxpayer burden.
Have 1 minute.
Thank you. However that may work, whether it's a joint effort with Parks and Rec to clear it, to maintain it, or whether it's the Piper Soccer Club itself purchasing that land and using it for what we want. We're just looking for your guys' ideas, and thank you for any opportunity you have.
Thank you.
Jill Gonzalez to the podium. Mike Gonzalez on deck.
Hello, I'm Jill Gonzalez, and I'm from Kansas City, Kansas. I am as well with the Piper Soccer Club, and I appreciate you giving us this opportunity to speak. How would we fund this park and soccer concourse? We did receive a grant from Hollywood Casino. We do fundraising opportunities through our local communities, the local businesses, Fuddruckers. We have hundreds of volunteers that help us with our club. All of our parents are volunteers. All of the board members are volunteers. Many of them own their own companies and have volunteered to help mow, grate the fields, even help take down the brush, the trees, anything that is there. We do know that there will be some expenses with grading and clearing the land, asphalting the walking trails and the biking trails, putting up any amenities like parks, a splash park if that's feasible. But this can all be done in phases through donations. We are putting up grants, and going out and seeking these grants and donations. We want to do this with as little expense from taxpayers, if any, as possible. We are actively seeking money and doing this on our own. We would like to try to keep it in correlation with Wyandotte County Recs and Park and see if they can continue to help us and maintain the land, or we do know that we have plenty of volunteers that would help maintain the land. We would like to have any suggestions from you to keep this a reality, keep this a community. We also know that our soccer seasons are from March to May in the spring and August through October in the fall. We've been in talks with Piper Optimist for their football season that they could come and join in. We have the Gaelic Athletic Association here that they could come and join in. We've had mention of beach volleyball and other cheerleading that could come out and use the fields as well. Families could come out and safely walk and know that they're there. This is a huge opportunity for us to utilize land that is not being utilized for the children, for our purpose, and for anyone else's that has sporting in mind, children, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Gonzalez to the podium. Marcia Rupp on deck.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for letting us stop by and talk for a few minutes. My part's going to kind of hopefully be short and sweet here. We, as Soccer Club, really want our kids to come out and have a nice, safe place to play. We want our entire community to have a nice, safe place to play with it being a park. We work with a lot of different organizations, teaming up with Parks and Rec, teaming up with the Gaelic sports to not only make it Piper Soccer Club, but make it Piper Sports Club, involving many different aspects of youth sports here in Wyandotte County to keep everything here in Wyandotte County. We work with, as we said before, mostly Western Wyandotte County kids right now, but we are also working with and talking to different groups like State Street Project, KCK Community College, about bringing more inner city kids into the program to where something like this doesn't only affect Western Wyandotte County, it'll affect all of Wyandotte County. Okay? But we really appreciate it. We want you to know that we are here. We're in support of everybody here on the Commissioner Board and the Mayor. And if anybody else in the audience has supported this, would you please stand up and let them know? Thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here.
Marcia Rupp to the podium, Georgia Hallett on deck.
Good evening, Marcia Rupp, 2816 North 46th Street. First of all, I want to say, don't wait and say would've, could've, should've. Get the body cameras for the police. This is something that I would like you, I ask all the commissioners to do, especially the commissioners that are in the area of Indian Springs to 65th, okay? The reason that we don't have anything good coming into Indian Springs is because I have really been driving State Avenue. And because my husband told me to, because Parallel needs to be fixed, the road. But Parallel is the best looking highway that we have for what's on the sides of the road. The best looking, from 51st all the way out. But it's the worst road. So I've been driving State Avenue, and I've been looking, and everything that I see is either boarded up, torn down, or unkept. There ought to be, I'm not a lawyer, I don't, far from it. So, but I know that you got some smart heads up here, and I know you can figure out a way to either do eminent domain or either to give an incentive to fix up some of this property or either tear it down. Because there's lots of spaces. That orange building that's across from the doctor's office at 57th, the Midtown Plaza building, that is a huge lot for a quick trip. I mean, a nice quick trip that we don't have there. The other thing is, trying to think where else. The West Haven needs to be all torn down, all of it. They have a for sale sign on it. No one's going to buy it, okay? This is no one's fault. Believe me, I'm not blaming the commissioners because this is a long-going problem, okay, that has been just ignored, okay? The middle of the street looks wonderful, with all the flowers and everything, but it's what's on the sides of the street. And we have a motel that is in trouble there, is a mess on 47th. We have a fireworks stand that needs to be torn down. We have a Miller Hardware that was torn down and all the debris is still laying on the side of the street. This is just pitiful. This is why we can't get anything. If you would just really concentrate on taking care of the buildings that are not being used, that they can't sell, they've tried to, and just fix it up from that point, Indian Springs to 65th, you're gonna see a lot of difference in what would come into Indian Springs. And I'm talking something big here because there's not much space left out west. It's getting full. So please think about it, okay? Just drive it. Get in your car and drive it and really look. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners and Mayor Holland. My name is Georgia Howlett. I live at 10945 Oak Drive. I've lived there for 30 years. I am an original DOT. I'm very proud of it. I'm going to give you a little history so you know that I care about my community. I'm a past president of Grinner Place Friends. I spent 5 years of my life with the most wonderful man, Ray Byers, building the Grinner Barn. And I am also an past executive of the Junior League of Wyandotte and Johnson County. I've worked with the Kids Voting Kansas. I've been a director of Kids Voting Kansas. I've worked with the Teen Pregnancy Speakers Bureau. I've worked with the Special Children's Daycare Center in Call Valley Center here in my own community because I love Wyandotte County. I believe, as George Bernard Shaw said to us, that your life belongs to your community. And I believe my life does belong to my community. Many years ago, I sat on a committee for the city of Kansas City, Kansas that said you can't be a suburb of no place. But the reverse is also true. The suburbs must belong to the city too. We do not have a decent place for our kids to swim. My daughter, who is 34 years old, sitting right there, swam on the Piper swim team when she was 5 years old. My granddaughter, who is 10 years old, currently swims on the Piper swim team. There isn't a decent place for them to swim in Wyandotte County. We try to practice at the Savior, and it's a great place, but if you've ever been there, there's enough room for the coach to barely stand on the sideline where the kids are trying to practice. We have to shove the kids in and out in groups to get them there. When we host a meet, we have to rent Lansing, we have to rent Tonganoxie, we have to rent other areas for our team to host a swim meet. We need some decent things in Wyandotte County. I'm currently working with the Wyandotte program that I can't mention because it's part of a federal grant, so I'm not allowed to mention it in a public forum, but where we're trying to teach young people how to get out of poverty. We have to give young people places to go, whether it be a soccer field, a swimming place. Why do we have to drive 15 minutes to Shawnee or 15 minutes north to Lansing? Why do we have to drive to another community to enjoy some of the things that we know are available? Go to Lee Summit, go to Blue Springs, go to any other community in this area. And you know that you have to provide things for your people to do. And, you know, some people say, well, if you build it west, then, oh, the inner city people will come out there and swim. So isn't that wonderful? Shouldn't we all be swimming together? Shouldn't we all have a decent place for our children to go and enjoy? Why do we have to travel to do that? And I believe there's longevity. 29 years, my kids have been swimming with Amy. Poor Amy, I feel sorry for her. But at one time, she had my 17-year-old, my 14-year-old, and my 5-year-old swimming on her swim team. But what I will say to you is that's longevity of a program that I think is important. When I went to Washington High School, we had a swim team. We have nowhere for these kids to swim. So I'm just asking you to consider that as part of your budget. Look for the future of our kids in Wyandotte County, no matter where they live. Thank you.
Thank you.
Daniel Welch to the podium, Kevin Winters on deck.
Name is Dan Welch, 6221 Armstrong. Commissioners, Mayor, Administrator. Those who know me know I come to talk about parks. Again, I will say the proposed UG budget for parks is generally satisfactory. Unlike some years in the 1920s, we do have a real budget. I recall that some years ago, one member of this commission emphasized the importance of our parks by telling a story about losing his son's kite in a tree. We all have stories of important events like this in our parks. Parks are about life experiences. In this month's pitch, Arthur Lucas Wetzel tells us about his life experiences with Rosedale Park. Wetzel starts off by telling us, and I'm going to quote him, by most measurements, Rosedale Park is one of the happiest places in the city. Family gather at the picnic shelter for barbecues and birthday parties, children climb on the jungle gym, teenagers skateboard, and couples play tennis. Also, from dawn to dusk every single day, there's a disc golf. Rosedale Park is a place of legend. Wenzel goes on, but he changes his happy tone, and he reminds us of Brock Barrett, a significant figure in advancing the design, landscaping, and maintenance of the down-under portion of the disc golf course. Brock lost his life in a tragic 2007 family fireworks accident. Then Steve Baumgartner, a Navy petty officer that crashed a steel lug into a Rosedale Park tree in 2008. But Wenzel's not done when he continues with a 2013 Rosedale Park tragedy, the electrocution of Nicholas Motor by a downed power line. I'm going to quote Wenzel again. Each time I played disc at Rosedale, Wenzel writes, I think of these three men who shared common ground in the park but never knew one another. I think about their families. I want to tell them that their sons are not forgotten. That's the end of the quote. Finishing a late disc round, Wenzel reports that he thought about life as a Frisbee flight. You take aim as best you can, but there's no predicting where the thing will land. The arc can be long and graceful, or unfairly interrupted by some unexpected force. Either way, there is flight. Parks are about life experiences.
Thank you.
Our last speaker is Kevin Winters.
Good evening, folks. Thank you for having me. My name is Kevin Winters. I'm here representing the Kansas City Gaelic Athletic Club. I'm also on the board of the Kansas City Irish Centre and the Kansas City Irish Fest. The Kansas City Gaelic Athletic Club are a non-profit organisation promoting Gaelic games and community involvement in the greater Kansas City area. And we have a number of adult amateur teams that practice in Wyandotte County Park. By quick way of background, Gaelic games are the most popular sports in Ireland and are governed out of Croke Park in Dublin. Croke Park, to give you an indication of the popularity of these sports, Croke Park is the fourth largest sporting stadium in Europe, behind London, Barcelona and Madrid. Last year, in 2016, over Labour Day weekend, we won a national championship and brought that national trophy back representing Kansas City. Off that success, we've partnered up with Piper Soccer Club in the development of a youth program, and are here to weigh in behind that request for a new field, a new practice facilities off Highway 5. Through that collaboration and through the media and success we've had, we've entered into a number of conversations with the Kansas City Sports Commission and Visit KC, and are at advanced conversations with the USGA about bringing regional, divisional and national championships to Kansas City, none of which could be achieved without a suitable fields and amenities like that. That would be an enormous revenue spinner for the county. That would involve, upwards of 1,500 athletes that would descend
You have 1 minute, sir.
Over a weekend. It's actually very impressive to hear what Piper have done there, done so much with so little. If there's some kind of support or some kind of collaboration we can do there, I think we could go a lot further. Thank you.
Those are all the speakers who signed up, Mayor.
All right, Commissioner Kane.
Thank you, Mayor. Since I've been here, I've talked about where there are no parks west of 435. I've talked to the swimming folks. I've met with the soccer players, the Piper Optimist Club. I've asked the commission to give us $100,000 seed money, so when we find a proper place, and I think we have found it, so we'd have something to work with. Melissa Bynum, I met with them, and I told Melissa and Doug that I have reached out to 2 contractors. I'm going to meet one of them at the field with our public works folks, and I'm going to do exactly what you did. I'm going to say, what can you do to fix this up? And if you can only do so much, how much would that be in kind? So we are working on it. It's important that we have parks out west, that we have paths out west. I don't know a lot about the pools yet, but I'm going to learn more. But we do deserve to have green space out west. And we've got the golden place to do it. It's in the floodplain, so it floods. We'll regrow the grass. But I think it's very important that what they said was they're willing to groom the field and do a lot of work there. And then this will be used by not just the Piper folks, but the folks from in town. Because when you have to pay money to practice, then you have less money to buy balls, nets, gloves, and the transportation. The time that you would save by not going to Johnson County to play, and you'd stay right here because we live here. We want to stay here and we want to play here, and I think we've got an opportunity to do something here. So I asked my fellow commissioners to list to the folks tonight, because I'm not the only one that says we need all this. They're telling you right now they need this.
All right, well, I want to thank everyone for coming out. This marks a high point for this is my 11th public hearing for the budget. And this is a high point because 9 out of the 10 speakers were talking about Parks and Rec. And that's a long time coming. It used to just be Dan. And so, so Dan, help has come. So I just want to thank everyone. I ran 10 years ago on pools, parks, playgrounds, and paths for exercise to try to grow Parks and Rec in this community, and it's been a long time coming. The Parks Master Plan, this commission backed 100%, and so our biggest challenge now is going to be funding that master plan. and coming up with a funding stream that's sustainable, that's going to be able to allow every part of our community to do this, to have the Parks and Rec infrastructure that we deserve. And we are well aware you don't have to look hard at a map to see the lack of green space in the Piper area. So I appreciate everyone coming out today and sharing your vision with us. It's very much appreciated. So I will close this public hearing now. We do have a short 2-minute presentation by our Public Works Department. I'd invite everyone to stay for it. It's a video that shows, well, it's a presentation that's going to show how we're tracking Public Works Department projects into the future. Have you ever seen a road project going on and you wonder when it would ever end? Right? I love to see the cones because it's progress. It's money being invested in our community. But we're going to have a presentation to show what we're going to do on Leavenworth Road, and it's going to be a model for how we're going to do presentations for Public Works in the future. So it's just a brief 2 to 5 minute presentation. I'd appreciate your staying and taking a look at it if you'd like to. All right, I'd ask Mr. Bach, do you have any further presentation for that?
No, Mayor. I will recognize our Public Works staff. I'm not sure which one of you guys is going to give it. Troy? All right. I recognize our County Engineer, Troy Shaw, and the rest of his support team, and they'll give the presentation on our new Leavenworth Road website.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Troy Shaw. I'm the County Engineer for Public Works Department. What we wanted to do here real quick was just give you a brief explanation of what we're planning on doing with the website and how we want to inform public in the future of projects we have and let them know what's going on to help them get answers to what we're doing and make it a lot more informative for them. So I've just kind of got our website up here. We will go to the Public Works Department. And if you go to the Public Works Department, we will have, so on the left, we're revamping our website, so it's under construction as we speak. We'll have an area that's just for projects, which is currently under construction. Working with Brandon, our Asset Management Division Manager, there's going to be an interactive map on this for in the future, so all of our projects we have under construction will be on this map. You can click on that map, and it'll open up a little bit about the project. So give you that real quick about that's kind of where we're going with this portion of it. But we also have we'll have an area for larger projects such as Leavenworth Road, where we have a link for this is specifically for Leavenworth Road type projects. So you click on that, it'll have basic information about what's going on, what we're doing, some pictures, a lot more information about the project in general, and then some quick frequently asked questions that we will continue to update as we get more questions. We'll keep adding to the list so people can get there and access those right away and see what's going on. And then we also included a section about Leavenworth Road's full of history. So in this one, we included an area with history. So you can kind of scroll through and see different eras, what it's looked like and what's been going on. And we also have a link here to Wyandotte County Museum, or no, I don't think it's a link, I think it's just a website for now, but it can be linked to the museum's website. And then we'll also include an interactive map on this as well, but it's under development right now. We're thinking about the interactive map for project-specific things like when is a certain chunk of the road going to be closed, when is it going to be one way going different directions that we'll update throughout the process. Tim Nix, our website coordinator, and we will work with project managers to get this information on. And another cool thing we're kind of working into is that if a change is made, residents can sign up to get notified when that change is made. So it'll send an email or a text. We're working on developing that as well, still under construction. Our portion of Leavenworth Road actually starts, we bid it in October, so our portion will start next spring. Right now, obviously, there's utility work going on, which you can, project schedule we put in here, very general right now. As we get more into it, we can update that when things are going on and we know specifics about timelines, and then people can get on here to see it. And then right now, we've currently included a portion about utility relocations because that's what's happening right now. I also want to point out that there is multiple spots throughout here with this link right here, which is basically an email. If you click on that and it forwards an email to, it can be email that goes directly to the project manager, and I think there's 4 people. The project manager, Dave Clark, is copied on this. Tim, myself, and then Brent Thompson is copied on this as well, so we make sure we get that email, and we want to make sure that if someone sends that in, they get a response right away, whether it's here's your answer or it's we've got this, we'll get you an answer within 24 hours, or we're looking into this, just to make sure people know that we're responding to them right away. But there's that link is multiple places throughout here that has that website definition. Our plan in the future is to use this on projects such as this one, ones that affect a lot of people, not just the people that are living right there, but everybody that drives through the corridor. Schools are involved. Merriam Lane would have been a good one for something like this on. And then, like I said, also, we'll have a general map that's for all of our projects going on throughout the county that you can kind of click on and see information about it as it goes. So that's really all I have, unless I missed something that these guys are thinking. But I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up of what we're thinking and kind of where we're going in the future. And this is an iterative process, so there's going to be changes as we go, and we're learning as we're doing it. But we hope we can provide elected officials and the public a lot more information in the future about projects. So thank you for your time, unless you have any questions.
No, this is great. Really appreciate the use of technology for this.
One more thing. So we have this contact information. We're going to put out 6, I think we're looking at 6 smaller 30 by 30 signs that will say Leavenworth Road Modernization Project. Then it'll have for information C, and then it'll have the link to this website. So we'll kind of direct people to this website to start with, so hopefully they can get their information sooner and faster, but also provide contact information so they can get a hold of us if they need to, and the right people, so they're not going through 311 and a bunch of different people to get to where they need to go. We're hoping that we can streamline it and get an answer as quick as possible with this. So we'll have these 6 smaller signs throughout the duration. Then when we start ours, we'll have the big project signs at both ends as well. So hopefully people can get information.
Thank you. This is going from 38th Street to
38 to 63rd.
63rd.
This current phase, correct. And then
this
there'll be
phase
another
is
one.
a $25 million project?
14, I believe. I think overall, because we'll do another phase, so together it'll be
a $25 million rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be of the same caliber of State Avenue and Parallel Parkway.
Correct.
Only
Yes, sir.
it'll be 2 lanes instead of 4.
Yes, sir.
So this is a great upgrade, sidewalks, everything for Leavenworth Road. Thank you to our Public Works Department. This has been a long time coming. And to have this kind of public information, because it wears people out when they have to sit and wait for their road to be finished. As much as we want it redone, there's a big hassle to getting it done, and this is going to go a long way to informing the public. Commissioner Philbrook.
I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. That's going to be a big help. We're really happy to get started on Leavenworth Road finally, after all these years. But you guys are really taking us to the next level by keeping everybody informed as soon as you can get that up and running, because I have a lot of inquisitive minds along Leavenworth Road.
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, hopefully it'll be more than just this project, and we'll get enough out there so that information's available and people will learn that that's where you go to get it to start with, and hopefully we'll answer questions.
I look forward to going to the the community meetings, and they don't have to ask me anything, because I get it all from you. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. That concludes the meeting tonight. We are going upstairs to the 5th floor for the budget hearing. If you would like to join us, you're welcome to come up to the 5th floor. There is a public viewing area up there, and that will start at about 25 till. We'll take 15 minutes to go upstairs. Thank you.